Morning all. So we're moving on to Surah 3, right? And we, like I was saying, we are picking out verses, direct references from the Quran, right, that speak to monotheism, right, meaning the worship of one God and one God only, right, by name of Allah, right? So Surah 3, verse 2, Allah, there's no deity or God except Him, the ever living, the self sustaining, right? Ever living, meaning that is always present, right? Allah is always present, right? Whether we are talking about our human experience in the past, our human experience in the present, our human experience in the future, right? It is neutral, it is standard. Allah is standard, right? The ever living, right? Meaning standard, and the same remains the same, whether we are talking about human past, human present, or human future, right? Self sustaining, meaning does not rely on anything for his existence, right? So that's two, and we're also talking about verse 6, right? It is he who forms you in the womb, however he wills. There's no deity except him, the exalted and might, the wise, right? So we're referencing verse 2 and verse 7. This is Surah 3, right? So two verses within this surah, right, that point directly to monotheism, right, the worship of one God only, right? So it is he who forms you in the womb, however he wills, right? So let's just touch on this topic once more. We're talking about the topic of abortion, right? And going forward in time, right? Going forward in time, because many would have done this in the past without or thinking that, hey, this is right, or this is the right thing I'm doing, like having an abortion and so on. Having an abortion is not right, right? You participated in an activity that brought life into the world, right? You are responsible for participating in activities that support that life, right? So people think that is okay, just do have sex or commit sexual intercourse, but you don't want to commit to the responsibility of raising that child or even bringing the child into the world. You don't even want to take the first step of bringing the child into the world in the first place, right? But you're quick to have sexual activity, right? Because pleasure, right? Allah, if He wills, right, could be the destroyer of pleasures, right? The destroyer of all pleasures, right? So we are talking about supporting, providing support, and this is for people who actually go to these doctors, right, who commit these acts, right? Because you get pregnant, what people can say, hey, I know married yet, I know this, I know that. But moving forward in time, we're talking about getting into a serious committed relationship before these things happen, anyhow, right? But let's just say you get pregnant out of you're not in a relationship or whatnot, right? And you quick to get rid of the child because what anybody gonna say, right? These kind of situations, right? This is not to dredge up anybody's past pain, but in order to heal from certain things unconsciously, you need to dredge up certain pains, right? So this is about not. This is about accepting a responsibility for your action, right? That is all that is in it, right? Both the person who committing this act and the person who going to the person to commit the act, right? So I believe both persons in those cases need a support system, right, or somebody else, right? Whether it's a psychologist, whether it's just somebody else to talk to, a family member, a friend, anything, right? To be there in order to say, hey, are you sure you want to go down this route, right? Are you sure you want to go down the route of eliminating the soul, right? Eliminating this body, eliminating this potential life. That could be a great person, or it could be an ordinary person, it could be anybody at all, right? Do you want to go down the road, or do you want to support the action of going down the road of saying, hey, I want to eliminate this life from the planet before it is even brought forth into the world, right? So these are things that we need to ask ourselves, right? So He forms you in the womb however He wills, right? This is with regard to the baby's sex or gender, as the case may be, both the same in my eyes, right? Gender and sex, there's no difference really, right? You can't just decide to be any gender you want to be, or identify. God gave you a particular reproductive organ, right? You can't just decide, hey, I want another I want another reproductive organ, or the opposite reproductive organ. God gifted you, right, with a particular organ, right? You can't just decide, right? Decide, hey, I want another reproductive organ, right? That's just if for a period of time, and this might be temporary due to influences and so on. You might say, hey, I feel like a guy trapped inside a girl body, right? Or I feel like a girl trapped inside a guy's body, right? And these things might be fleeting, right? Because of influences from the outside world and so on, right? But sex and gender, right? There's no difference, right? There's no difference in sex and gender in my eyes, especially at this point in time, right? When I am certain I am female, I'm certain you are male, right? I'm 100% certain that I'm female, right? And I'm 100 certain that I'm woman, right? And you are 100% certain that you are male, and you are 100% certain that you are man, right? So moving forward in time from that wayward kind of behavior that the agendas of the world try to lead us down into, right? So Allah forms you into the womb how He wills, right? Whether you are male or female, right? Your intelligence or your potential for intelligence, meaning acquiring knowledge, whether it's morality, whatever field of knowledge He has assigned for you to gravitate towards, right? Your heart space, all these things, right? So Allah knows you from the time that you are born, right? And what your capacity you have to do what, right? So as humans, which is the highest form of intelligence in the world, right? So we're talking about human beings through the act of Allah, right? Is actually higher than technology, higher than robotics, all these things, right? God is higher than all these things, and God functions through us to carry out activities in the world, right? So you as a human have higher function and intelligence function than technologies, right? And you have the potential to what? Annihilate technologies being used for dark purposes, dark reasons in the world, right? Once as you come to the awareness that hey, these things actually do occur, right? And you use your voice, which is a God-given faculty, right? You use your voice to speak out against these things, right? So there's no deity except Allah, the ever living, the ever sustaining. It is He who forms you in the womb, however He wills. There's no deity except Him, the exalted in might and the wise.